We are just 6 days away from a government shutdown if Congress cannot come together and reach an agreement on what's known as a continuing resolution, or plain and simply just to keep the government up and running. Joining us now to talk about a little bit about this, a former senator from Pennsylvania, 2012 presidential candidate, and now Rick Santorum has a new role, CEO of a movie studio. Many questions about that one, since you clearly have too much free time.
Yeah, 7 kids, just sort of hanging out.
Just sort of hanging out. I want to get to that, but let's talk about first the latest crisis coming out of Washington. You're a senator, you know how this stuff works, you know it better than anybody. What do you think of this approach that has been championed by Senator Ted Cruz, tying funding the government with defunding Obamacare?
Yeah, I guess my feeling is I would be with Ted Cruz in the sense that what happens in Washington, D.C. is everybody sort of muddles together and tries to sort of work things out. And when you have a president and a Senate controlled by one party, that means, generally speaking, if you want more limited government, it's going to be a bad deal unless someone can plant a flag and say, no, we're going to pull this discussion this way a little bit and not just do business as usual. And I think that's what Ted and Mike Lee and others have done, and I think that's a good thing. It's too soon to tell whether the strategy has worked or not. Will it move the debate this way? But I think that's really ultimately what I think Ted is trying to accomplish, and I think he's certainly pulling out all the bullets to get it done. Then
what's your advice to your party? Because what people are seeing, and it's often the inter-party fights are in private, but it's very public. Fellow Republicans coming out and saying Ted Cruz is putting them in a bad spot, he's out of control, and he's way over the line. Is it worth it standing on principle when you know in reality this is going nowhere in the Senate?
I can say I've been accused of putting my party in a bad spot repeatedly when I was in the Senate, and sometimes you have to do that. You have to make people uncomfortable because people do get too comfortable in sort of cutting the deal. I'm all for compromise, but compromising on more of what people want to do to grow government is a bad compromise. Compromising on doing a little bit less of shrinking government is a good compromise, and that's what we're trying to move to. Trying to do something to limit the impact of Obamacare on this country. And I think that's what everybody's focused on, and that's a good thing.
And Republicans all do agree. They do want to eliminate or limit Obamacare.
Yes,
but when you've got the two options...
How much they're willing to fight is the real question.
When you've got the two options, though, people affected by a government shutdown or giving funding for Obamacare, how do you choose those?
Nothing happens in Washington without brinksmanship. That's just the way it works. It's not a very pretty thing, but that's how policy is made. You have to have,
So you'd shut down the government?
You have to have stops.
Okay.
You have to have some threat out there. Otherwise, nobody takes you seriously.
They're taking them seriously now, but for the right reason?
We'll see. You're asking me to make a decision on something that we haven't seen play out yet, and I think we'll wait and see how they handle it going down the stretch.
You're absolutely right about that. Real quick, I want to ask you: the president's in New York addressing the UN General Assembly. Do you think that he should meet with the president of Iran?
The president of the United States should never meet with someone who's not the president of their country. The leader of Iran is the mullahs in charge, is the Ayatollah. He's the leader of Iran. This guy's a puppet that they put up. The president of the United States should not meet with a puppet. That diminishes the presidency and diminishes the United States even further. So
no hope there.
There's no way he should be meeting with this fraud, as far as I'm concerned.
Strong statements. A very strange but awkward turn, but I do want to ask you about this career that you have picked up. Now, so why are you taking on movies? You've started a production company, Echo Light Studios.
Echo Light Studios.
Too much free time?
No. One of the things I found in politics is that the popular culture has a huge impact on where Washington, D.C. and the country is going, and certainly that is clearly the case. And so what we've done is form a company that is going to make inspirational films about hope and about optimism. Certainly something we need a lot of, and the first film that we're coming out with is a film called The Christmas Candle. We're going to be releasing it theatrically November 22nd. We're really excited. It's based on a book by Max Lucado, who's a best-selling author.
And Susan Boyle is in this movie.
Yes, the singer, she actually sings a beautiful original song. It's a Christmas song. How about a Christmas movie for Christmas time? A novel idea.
Doesn't often happen these days.
You know what? It actually does not. We're actually the only movie out this season that's actually going to have some Christmas theme to it. So we're really excited. We think we've got a great cast. Samantha Barks, who was from Les Miserables, Hans Matheson
let me count
from
these out
Sherlock
now.
Holmes.
Movie exec, former presidential candidate,
Yeah.
former senator. Will we have a current presidential candidate in the future, Senator?
Well, right now I'm focused on making sure that we provide, really good quality family entertainment, and we'll sort of wait and see how it goes from there. But I'm excited about our opportunity here. I think we've got a great film, and we got some really interesting things to come.
I will be waiting here along with our viewers to see.